We are back with Town Talk, and we have Rainey Reed, Duxbury's town manager, on set with us. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. So it's summertime.
It is summertime.
It's officially summertime in the very popular Duxbury Beach. You have lots to talk about that.
Correct.
And plovers.
Correct. This year we have an abundance of piping plovers, as we did last year. Last year we had 26 pair with nests on the beach. This year we have 25.
Wow.
Last year they were clustered in more smaller amounts in separate areas, but this year they seem to be up and down the beach from north to south. And as a result, of the 11,000 linear feet that we have available to us, right now we're restricted down to 800 linear feet. So
wow.
that means that's a big difference for a lot of people. Normally we can have a capacity of 500 cars out there, and what we do is, pursuant to the beach management plan, is we allow 250 residents and 250 non-residents.
Okay.
And it's
Cars.
Cars,
Okay.
yes. Vehicles, I should explain that, thank you. And it's based on a first-come, first-served basis, so the earlier you get there, the greater your chances of getting on the beach. With these kind of restrictions in place, though, we had to reduce the number from 500 overall to 100 overall. So that means that 50 resident vehicles and 50 non-resident vehicles.
50, okay.
Yeah. So as a result of those restrictions, we encourage people to get there very early. Case in point, 2 weekends ago, we had a restriction in place, and the beach was actually limited. Access was limited to non-residents by 8:02 in the morning, with the beach opening at 8, and by 9:05 to residents.
Wow.
So we had to limit access at that point. But what we do is, working in concert with the Duxbury Beach Reservation, who are the owners of the beach. The town actually leases the beach from them.
Okay, so the town does not own the beach?
No, we do not. In fact, it was purchased many, many years ago by a trust of a number of individual families. They bought it, and they lease it back to the town. The current lease amount is $600,000 a year.
Okay, so these are not your town's rules. You're not making up these rules.
No, the rules that are in place are articulated in a document called the Duxbury Beach Management Plan. That was a document that the reservation created in concert with town officials, working to figure out what would be the best arrangement to allow vehicular and pedestrian access when piping plovers are present.
Okay.
We're one of the few beaches in the Commonwealth where that commingling, if you will, or that coexistence of birds and people is allowed. Many beaches, such as some of those on the Cape, don't allow any access at all. In fact,
no people at all.
Correct. They just flat out shut it down to anybody. Whereas in Duxbury, we do allow very limited access when the plovers are present. We have fencing, fencing that allows
barrier fencing.
Yes, it's mostly symbolic fencing. It's stakes in the ground with orange string and signage saying, "Please don't enter this area." People are very mindful of that, but we want to make sure that they don't allow kids to run in there, or pets or anything like that, so they don't scare the birds away. Once the birds have hatched, then it takes roughly 30 to 35 days for them to fledge, meaning that they can learn to fly.
Okay.
Once they can fly up to 50 feet, then we can lift the restrictions that are in place and allow more access, because that means that the birds can then get out of the way.
Typically, when does this happen in the calendar?
Right now, the time frame that we've set with this, what we're calling in terms of access to the worst case scenario, with this severe limitation, is we're anticipating that access will be opened on or about July 25th.
Okay.
Because many of the nests that have eggs have hatched, and so the birds are learning to fly at this point. We hope that we can have the restrictions lifted before July 25th, but we understand that with the conclusion of the school year coming, and then the 4th of July right behind it, that people want to get to the beach. So what we're telling people is, if you want to get there, make sure that you get there early if you want to try and get on the off-road vehicle corridor.
Okay.
However, once you cross the bridge, and if you are greeted by the fact that you can't get onto the beach with your car, we do offer parking to the left once you cross the bridge.
Okay.
There's a parking lot there. There's harbor master staff in place to help people figure out where to park and get access.
Monitoring, someone came at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the kids get tired, you leave around 12 or 1. Someone's monitoring, someone else could come in later in the afternoon, perhaps?
Yes, the harbor master staff is very, very good about that in terms of the one-on, one-off. It's not usually as quickly as one-on, one-off. It may be 5 on, 5 off.
Right.
But when we're at capacity, we do counts on an hourly basis, so we know exactly how many cars are out there. Of course, when you're dealing with smaller numbers, it's easier to count, so you can count quicker, and you can allow access that much quicker too. But again, we want to let people know that they can still get to the beach. They just might not be able to drive on it. They'd have to walk over through the pedestrian access.
Okay. One more question. Who is watching these birds and determining they have fledged? Who are these people?
There are actually bird monitors out there that work for the Audubon Society who sit there on an 8-hour shift, and they sit there with their field glasses and they watch the birds. They keep an eye on where they move. We want to make sure that they're not crossing the road or have the chance of being hit by a car or any of that.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that they're safe and sound, essentially.
Okay.
And they have these people on staff all throughout the daylight hours so that they keep an eye on them and make sure that the birds are okay.
That's great. Well, this is very helpful information. It's a popular beach.
Oh, it is.
And I'm sure the line in the morning is just...
Yeah. We've seen up to 60 or 70 cars lining up on the bridge to get in there on a Saturday. And the demand is only going to increase now that school's letting out and with great temperatures, beach weather. We're trying to do the best we can. And what we do is we provide weekly updates, press releases. We provide them to a number of local media outlets. They're on the Harbor Master's Twitter feed. We encourage people to get on the Twitter feed or go to the town's website.
Okay.
We provide as much information as we can.
I get them all the time, so it's
and
great.
And we send it out the minute we have any kind of change so that people can make their arrangements to get to the beach.
Let's close with the big 4th of July parade in Duxbury.
The big 4th of July parade, yes. It'll be held on, the preparations are underway right now. The parade committee has been meeting and working with the contractors and the vendors to get the different bands and the different acts in the parade. From what I'm told, it's the second or third oldest one in the country. It's a terrific parade, lasts about an hour and a half. It's a wonderful time. We encourage everybody to come out. And it starts from Hall's Corner at 2 o'clock on Saturday, July 4th.
Okay, wonderful. And it's actually Saturday's July 4th this year, so
yeah, it's wonderful.
Exciting.
We all get a Friday holiday. It's terrific.
Be a very busy weekend in this area.
Yes, it will.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate
Thank you. I
having
appreciate you having me.